Hello everyone, and you are all very welcome to our coverage of the second round of the 2022 Enduro World Series from EWS Petzen Jamnica. And we are definitely going back to the old school with this classic. A big course with some absolutely huge stages. Racing kicked off on Saturday with a monstrous pro stage test in Austria and continued again today with a trio of Slovenian stages. Shorter in length but full of really technical sections before we return back across the border for a final huge stage on EWS Trail. This is how it went down then yesterday at the Black Hole Bike Festival. Jesse Melamed set the fastest time with a 13-minute 3-second assault on Thriller. The Canadian second at the first round in Scotland and looking to be in superb form. Behind him then a familiar combo of Jack Moyer and Richie Rude. Moyer disappointed with his performance at round one, but roaring back to form here. He and Rude, who won in Scotland, separated by just 2 seconds. As you can see then, some big rides, but Melamed, Moyer and Rude were out in front. In the pro women's category, it was Isabelle Cordelier who won the pro stage with a fantastic run. The Lapierre Zip Collective rider came second last time we were here in 2018 and was looking to finish one spot higher in 2022. Behind her it was a close run thing, but Morgan Schär, the world number 2, came in just ahead of the winner of round 1, Ella Connolly. Connolly proving that she can run with the very best on these big fast stages. After 1,000 vertical metres of descending then, this is how they stood. Cordelier led from Schär and Connolly. Come Sunday morning, it was time to pack the passports and head to Slovenia. Ella Connolly began the first stage of the day in fine form with a third in the first stage. Morgan Schär had obviously woken up on Sunday morning feeling punchy. The French racer set about reducing Isabelle Cordelier's lead by 2 seconds.
Nice! Come on! Nice!
The stages in Jamnica were relatively short, but if she could keep up the pace, Morgan would have Isabelle in her sights by the time they hit the huge final stage.
Come on, Isabelle! Come on! Nice! Push it!
In the pro men's race, one of the breakthrough racers of 2022, Slavomir Lukacic, was on the move. He was third on the stage. Jack Moyer lost time on stage 2. The big Aussie shipped 8 seconds to his arch rival Richie Rude, who won the opening stage of the day. Melamed was second, only ceding 1.6 seconds to the two-time champ. The reigning champion Melanie Pujan was having a quiet day by her standards with a 6th on the Queen stage. Was she keeping energy in reserve for a big assault on the last stage? Ella Connolly kept the pressure on at the front by taking 2nd on the stage. But out front, Isabelle Corderie had warmed up and was now firing on all cylinders. She took the win and the points by 4 seconds from the Cannondale rider. Martin Mays, one of the pre-race favourites, had suffered a puncture on the pro stage, but was rallying. He finished the Queen stage in 3rd. Jesse Melamed was beginning to sense a final stage showdown and knew that his lead was good enough that keeping Ruud in sight was all that mattered. The American won again on the Queen stage, but the Canadian was only 0.2 of a second behind him. Two British riders who had started the only cross-border round of the year relatively quietly were Bex Barona and Hattie Harnden. They came home 3rd and 4th on stage 4 respectively. In front of them, Melanie Pujan was on the move and finished the stage in 2nd. But out front it was all Corderie who took another stage win and built her lead still further. In the pro men's race, someone had to blink first. Louis Jondal was riding well and finished the stage 3rd, but behind him there were fireworks. Jose Borges was 2nd on the stage behind Jesse Melamed, but where was Ruud? The Yeti Fox Factory team rider had been down right at the top of the stage. He finished right down in 30th position. That crash meant that Richie Ruud was now just shy of 17 seconds back from Melamed. Jack Moyer was riding well and just ahead of Lukacic, who, over a stage as long as the EWS trail, was right in the hunt. In the pro women's race, an amazing set of stage results in Slovenia meant that Isabelle Corderie headed back to Austria with a lead of nearly 20 seconds from Morgan Schauer. Ella Connolly had made the most of her morning and now had a comfortable lead ahead of Pujan for the last of the podium spots. One final test awaited, over 1,000 vertical metres of the EWS trail. Melanie Pujan didn't win the 2021 Enduro World Series overall without knowing a thing or two about racecraft. She rode her way back into this race superbly, but the big final push just didn't work out. She finished the stage in 6th, which wasn't enough to beat Ella Connolly in the overall. Connolly finished the day a superb 3rd. Morgan Schauer had thrown the kitchen sink at the final stage, and after one of the most brutally long stages in EWS memory, she crossed the line just 0.7 of a second behind the woman who won on the stage and the race, Isabelle Corderie. Corderie had barely put a wheel wrong all day and crossed the line having won 4 out of the 5 stages put in front of her.
It was such a hard day at the office. We started with a very flat special, with a lot of roads everywhere, so it was super physical. So I think we were all destroyed before the last one. So the last one was just like survival. Like not too fast, but trying to be not too slow. I honestly almost crashed maybe 10 times, even going slow, so I'm super happy I could manage to hold to the lead.
In the pro men's race, it was a question of what the often mercurial Ruud could conjure up and how Melamed would handle the pressure. The stage was won by Morgan Schauer's Pivot Factory Racing teammate Eddie Masters, who crossed the line just 1.5 seconds ahead of Jack Moyer. Moyer's confidence had visibly returned throughout the weekend, and he was rewarded with a 3rd place in the overall as a result. Richie Ruud's hand had been blown off his bars during the previous evening's pro stage, yet it hadn't slowed him down. He's the kind of rider that can summon up the kind of runs that threaten to rotate the earth back on its axis. But today, he simply couldn't catch Jesse Melamed. Ruud was 4th on the stage, but the Rocky Mountain Race Face rider's lead was simply too big after an absolutely superb day on the stages. Jesse had placed first or second on all but one of the stages and turned in an unbeatable scorecard.
Hard, man, but fun battling for the lead, like properly, and feeling like I could be there, like going back and forth with Richie. He won a few stages today, and that last stage, like, man, it demanded so much patience because it's so long. You've already done, like, I don't know how many minutes of racing, so my arms blew up way earlier in this stage, and it was just like, okay, like, really hold yourself back and be smooth and not make mistakes. And then I saved almost enough to, like, ride the bottom and have fun. It was a bit easier at the bottom, so yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked, like, really stoked to win again. So yeah, it was a lot of second places, which I was like proud of, but man, it feels good because I don't know, the pace is so fast, and I mean, I'm scaring myself, so I would hope that it's like fast enough. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Moyer's confidence had visibly returned throughout the weekend, and he was rewarded with a third place in the overall as a result. Isabelle Courdurier reigned supreme in the pro women's race then, with a winning time 20 seconds to the good. Morgan Schär was the only other rider to win a stage and came home in second, whilst Ella Connolly was third. And that is all from the second round of the 2022 Enduro World Series from EWS Petzen Jamnica. The good news is that you don't have to wait long before we go racing again in the stunning Italian Dolomites for EWS Val di Fassa. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you there.
Come on, come on, come on! Nice!